What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, back with another recent reads, and this time we have one of my favorites, man. Berserk is here with the Deluxe Edition Volume 10, collecting volumes 28, 29, and 30 of the manga. We're going to be full on spoilers here, so just be warned and maybe come back if you want to read it first, and we're going to go through this volume thoroughly. I do want to thank Dynamite Entertainment for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out their new comic book releases this week, as they have Red Sonja issue 7 and Barbarella issue 8. Let's jump into the overhead views, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. Alright guys, so beautiful deluxe edition hardcover, like all the volumes. So cool to see that we're on volume 10 already. Here we have the spine and the sticker that I usually take off with the $50 cover price. Rest in peace, Kentaro Miura. And let's jump into Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 10. First of all, we have the posters in the front, right? So we have the Moon Boy here, who has his big scene in this Deluxe Edition. Then we have Guts and company on their journey. Here we have Lady Farnese. And on the back we have a little elf. We got Sepulchre looking noble as hell. And then we have some war demons with their ligers that they're riding on, which we'll get into. Alright, so here we have the cover pages. This collects volumes 28, 29, and 30. I feel like 28 and 30 are action-packed. Really great stuff. And then with 29, it's a little bit more on the lighter side, more of learning how magic works in this world. A little biography on the characters. They just come out of their last battle from the last volume, and then we run into Skull Knight here. So this is where we learn about the Berserker armor, and that it's something that the Skull Knight has worn in the past. And we also learn that Casca could potentially get her mind back. That's what we learn here from the Skull Knight, but with a warning that if she gets her mind back, she might not want what Guts wants her to want, which is him. Love seeing this part here. They're talking about like his inner berserker and how it kind of creeps up his back and swallows him like a symbiote. We'll get more on that later on in this volume. But I just love how creepy it is, how it like crawls up his back as it's taken over. Yeah, so here, this is where we learn that there's a chance that Casca could regain her mind. She can come back, be who she was before. There's no guarantee your wish will be her wish. So I don't want to spoil anything moving forward in the story, but that matters. Then we run into the Moon Boy. Now, there's all kinds of theories on, is this a real person? Or, I guess it's Casca and Guts' unborn child that's merging over from the magic world, the astral plane, if you will. But everybody else sees the Moon Boy with Casca, and she kind of takes to him like a mother figure, even though she's really like a child in her mind, as it is. And then the child sees Guts. Casca still doesn't like Guts. But it's funny how there's a little shot where you see the three of them together, and they comment that, wow, it looks like a little family. And interesting how the Moon Boy is crawling up his back, kind of just like the Berserker within him. That's pretty interesting. And here they go to catch him, the family together, kind of for the first time. I think Farnese notices it. So the Moon Boy is rocking with them for a little while. Then we're looking at Griffith kind of being re-incubated by the egg of the perfect world. And that's where we start getting these alligator monsters that start creeping in. So what Berserk does here now is say that magic users, or even like those demons from the Kushan, can basically turn animals into apostles. So that's what we're going to be fighting now, is these big crocodile demons, which are not true apostles. They're just being possessed by some evil magic, if you will. So we have great fight scenes. We have these alligators with muskets or what have you. Great artwork with Guts. And then we're getting into the fight. And Isidro becoming a force, kind of using his height and his techniques, to his advantage in battle. And then I love this. You see the black cape just swoop by, and then Guts comes through. with that big Dragon Slayer sword, and boom, starts taking out the Crocs. Moon Boy's watching. Guts, everybody's fighting. So just an exciting couple of chapters within volume 28 here of just fighting. Nice big page spread of art slicing these crocodile monsters in half. And Guts is trying not to let the Berserk armor take him over. Shirky's doing her astral thing within their house. And then look, he's fighting, right? And he just can't help it, man. That beast just starts creeping, crawling up his back. I like how he even yells at it at one point. No, like it's an animal. See, so here's where we kind of find the people from the Kushan who are controlling it. Sephiroth beheads them. He does that a few times throughout this volume. But that's not the last thing. Then we get a true apostle that comes out of the water. This big, disgusting elephant type of demon creature, which is grotesque. And now Guts got to go up against him. He just blows Sephiroth away with his trunk. And here we go again. Berserker armor creeping up. But I love it when he lets it, because he needs to. Like otherwise, he's gonna die. But he's trying to go at the apostle head up without the Berserker armor's help. But see, now when Guts is down and he has no choice, he lets that armor take over. And I love it. I love how it's like the Venom symbiote kind of like swallowing him whole. Like right here as he lets go, lets the Berserker armor take over. And that's when it gets crazy, man. Like your adrenaline is going while you're reading this volume and this part comes on. So he jumps around with his spinning. It's like a video game character that got the best suit on. You know what I'm saying? Like destroying it. Now his body's taking a lot of punishment, bleeding out, but the Berserker armor corrects the broken bones and makes him keep fighting as he destroys this apostle. Dang, love the black page artwork here too. Lunging at him, kind of that whole let the bigger beast swallow me whole type of thing. And then just going berserker, man. Or going berserk, I should say, slicing the Crocs back open. And what's interesting is when he defeats all the enemies and turns his gaze over to his companions, that's the problem with the Berserker armor. He doesn't see friends. He just sees sharp teeth and mouths everywhere and is just ready to destroy it all. So this is what he sees. Just like this, kill, attack, hate, cut. He's surrounded by these dead enemies, but the Berserker armor doesn't know that. Those are his friends nearby. Now Shirky has to grab him out of his astral form, and this is kind of how he's seeing her in order to pull him back, which is always so cool to see. And Guts, he really needs Shirky around if he's going to be messing with the Berserker armor. So here we are. She's able to touch the beast to tame him and kind of dig in and find Guts. Look how she's pulling him out, man. Damn, that's so tight. It's heavy symbiote Venom Spider-Man vibes as she's literally pulling him from like that symbiote and him kind of being born again. Like you could feel his gasping for air coming out of there. So dope, man. Great volume here. Which is funny how I said it's followed up by kind of a slower volume, but it picks up towards the end. So then we lose the Moon Child. The child disappears, and it seems like it only came around because magic was around. That's kind of how it happens, right? Now, right now, their brands aren't drawing the strangers, but the Kushan attacking the Holy See and using the evil power that they're birthing, those war demons and such that we've seen in those last volumes, it's causing the magic world to blend a little bit more. Then we're getting introduced here to the ships. This is going to play a part, I believe, in the last volume here. But just showing the Kushan and how they're kind of behind these most recent monster attacks. A lot of great art in this deluxe edition as well, man. This nice double page spread, moving on their journey. We're going into town here, and it's weird because they stick out like sore thumbs. Shirky looks like a witch. Guts has this crazy armor on. Now remember, no one else can really see the elves. That's something that only children can see, I believe, or if you're in touch with the astral plane and such. But learning a little bit more about Griffith here, it's kind of interesting how it was prophesized that the Hawk would come through and blend this unique army of enemies and demons and warriors. And we're hearing about the prophecies here that Guts knows is literally happening. Here's Shirke using Jedi mind tricks on some guards, being called out because she's a witch. And she sees this little kind of like, looks like a little stick figure guy, looks like a soul. So she wanders over to this area where a bunch of Kushan prisoners have been hanged. And she can feel like their souls all around, seeing like all their torment and everything. It's pretty deep. And they're trying to get free, so I guess they're stuck there. So Shirke has to free the souls. She does. Shirke's badass, man. Little witch girl. But she does know her stuff. And then we have this soldier that runs into Isidro. He kind of rolls with the crew for a little bit here as well. Big, huge ship. They actually have a pretty funny relationship that ends in like a big fist fight. Shirke doing witch stuff, hanging with the animals. She gets ran up on this girl. So we find out that basically this girl, who seems to have a magical sense, and that's why that next chapter is all like dedicated to how magic works. She was like Griffith's girl until Griffith found out or freed Princess Charlotte and kind of left her high and dry. So she was almost like his Casca. So she's explaining that metaphorically with hawks and how she's an owl and she's the only one, or no, she's a kite and she's the only one that can fly with the hawk. It was kind of cool the way that she told this story, and you find out who she is. She's actually a medium who will introduce them to Griffith later on. Then we run up on these kids. They're running away. We learn that they're basically slaves that are purchased by these slave traders who are really pirates trying to go legit. So that's when we get introduced into this whole pirate thing, which is going to play a part because our crew is going to head out to sea towards the end of this deluxe edition. So here we go, jumping into volume 29. Like I said, we're going to learn a lot about this character, about how magic works in this world. And we're going to have a cool little fight scene here between these pirates, Captain, who looks like Captain Hook, and Sepulchre and Isidro. And it kind of just shows how Sepulchre, as good as he is and as formally trained, he's not really street savvy like Isidro is, so that's pretty cool. Shirke kind of reaching out to Guts telepathically, so that's pretty cool. Kind of letting him know that there's trouble brewing. And we get into a big fight when Isidro's new buddy, the Knight, they get into it with these pirates. And that's when Captain Hook shows up. So he has a pretty dope fight with that soldier, but when he jumps on the boat, the soldier can't grasp the movement. But Isidro can, so he jumps in and starts fighting the pirate. Pirate's got dirty tricks, as pirates typically do. He's got Isidro down. But then we wake up a knight. Now, I believe this is the knight from the Golden Age arc, isn't it? Isn't this who was guarding the bridge or something like that? He's somebody from the past that comes back and basically busts up this whole fight. It's interesting because Guts was really hanging outside the whole time. Now this is where Shirke gets invited to basically roll with Griffith's old lady, but she decides that she has a crew. Guts standing there all somberly like. And this is Isidro fighting with his new friend, like I said. They bust each other up pretty good. So she gets a vision of like all the destruction that's ready to come. She gets a hint to get out of the city because there's trouble coming. There's a little bit of trouble at this bar. Guts kicks this guy in the face, no big deal. Shirke dressing up in regular clothing. She gets somebody stains it, so Guts punches the guy in the face and kind of shows that he's got her back. Here we go to the Band of the Hawk here. Princess Charlotte rolling with them now, but she even is like overwhelmed by Griffith. Even though he chose her, I mean, really it was a political move, right? To have the royal blood, but it's funny to see she doesn't know how to act around Griffith. He's ascended to like this godlike status. So what's interesting here is Shirke's trying to teach Farnese magic, right? And it seems like right as she's getting into her training, Farnese has this overwhelming urge to go back home. She's of royal blood. Her father runs like the Holy See. And immediately she kind of goes home and falls in line. Her brother, Magnifico, sets up an arranged marriage for her, which kind of helps his interest and his friend's interest, that he doesn't really love her or anything, but it's just kind of, you know, one of those arranged marriage things. Shirky's alone to tend to Casca. Got some nude bathing scenes here, trying to tie up Isidro so he doesn't peek looks. Look how small Shirky is compared to Guts. Shirky kind of has a crush on Guts, no big deal. And Farnese kind of doing her own thing in her mansion. It was almost like she could have gotten away at any time and just lived it up, lived the high life. And I guess she kind of knew that, and that's why she went back when things got kind of crazy, which she learns is not really the right decision later on. But I guess that's what makes this volume a little bit bland as well. It's a lot of stuff going on in that kingdom and Farnese's home. Right now they realize that she's gone back home, so Guts is like, without question, we got to go get her. She's part of the crew. So here is her new suitor. She agrees to it right away. That was pretty interesting. A lot of detail in these scenes, though, that are in the palace, so that's something that you can appreciate with the artwork here. All the roses that he gives her and just spits game. Cuts. He's always trying to recover and heal up. Here's Farnese thinking about the magic and how to form the apple shape. Her mother shows up. I guess her mother ends up being kind of cool. Kind of supports her and what she wants to do. Kind of says how she's always been a thorn in her father's side. Remember, she burnt down the castle when she was young. She was a little devil girl monster. So here goes Guts and crew made it to the walls of the castle, seeing how large it is. Guts' plan is just to walk right in. Now here's the ball. Look at the detail here. This was an amazing page, man. The ceiling, showing how large the room is and all the people there. Here's where we find out about Farnese's brother's whole plan. Basically, he's trying to come up in the family. His father kind of gave his brothers everything. It's this whole little backstory we get. But he does have a ship, and he does end up offering it to our crew to go to Elfheim, which is where they're headed. And that's what's going to lead us to going on the water. Now, when Guts and them get to the front, the fog starts rolling in, and we can feel that evil is coming. So now instead of alligators, you have these lions or tigers that have kind of been transformed into these demon ligers, if you will, that straight just snatch up a guard, eat it, and run away. But it ends up being this whole big thing with this tiger monster. But not before we finally get Guts versus Sepulchre. We kind of felt like we weren't going to get this battle because Farnese decided to leave and Sepulchre followed. But now he's like, hey, it looks like you're going to get that fight after all, because I'm not going to let you take her away if this is what she wanted. So Guts having a hard time fighting where all these columns are. He's got no choice but to just break them down. And basically all Sepulchre could do is try to evade and strike. Then we're on to volume 30, which is the last volume of this deluxe edition. We have all the chapters, and we're continuing the fight with Sepulchre and Guts. It's a good fight. It reminds me of Guts and Griffith versus Zod in the earlier chapters, right? Weren't they fighting in a similar coliseum? But at the end of the day, it was a real fight. Even Isidro asked Guts if it was real. It was a real fight. Guts really didn't go easy on him, but he didn't go berserker mode or anything like that. But like a head-up fight, you know, it was formidable. Sepulchre was strategic in the environment that he chose to fight Guts, who's obviously bigger and stronger. So this is where Guts wins by pulling down the columns over on him, and at the end tells him that, it wasn't planned, it was just kind of by chance. So it was a pretty even fight, is I guess what they're trying to say. Which is cool. It lets you know when they're fighting together that they're almost as powerful. But nobody can mess with Guts with the berserker armor. So a lot of stuff at the ball. And then our Liger shows up. So that's when it gets crazy, because everybody can see it. Magic has been forced upon the real world in this area. So they can see the elves, they can see this tiger eating people, and they can see Farnese and Guts in them fight against this beast using magic and kind of just blowing everybody's mind. Right away she says to use silver. So something she's learned from Shirky. Her father, I guess he's the king, right? He sees everything. She gets saved by Sepulchre. That's where they see him fly in. with his cloak. And then look at Guts, so badass. Looks like the party's in full swing. Like 80s action movie, 90s action movie dialogue. But Guts comes through. He's got the Dragon Slayer. It's going to be him versus the Liger. And boom, he's going to straight slice his ass in half. Super cool, man. Until a bunch more burst through the door. Now there are multiple Ligers, and everybody's got to get out of Dodge. Guts and Sepulchre and everyone are going to fight against them. So that's where I said there's a big fight scene at the end of this deluxe edition as well. Here we go. Continuing into the next chapter. Big double page spread. You feel the movement and whoosh of the sword going back, throwing his cape back, ready to attack all these little Ligers. And you got Isidro throwing bombs at him. Farnese using Shirky's like poison ivy type vines to take one down. So she's actually using magic now, kind of for the first time. Her fiance tries to join in, so he ends up being a little bit noble. He gives them the ship at the end of this volume, like I said, to let them be on their way. She's got the Liger. She saved him, essentially. I guess that's why he gives her the ship. He uses the silver candlestick to stick it through the eye. And then Sepulchre again finds the Kushan who are controlling these animals. Gets them taken care of. We think we're all good. Guts basically gets Farnese back. The king kind of, Lord Vandemone, tries to Men in Black everybody and convince everybody, hey man, somebody must have spiked our drinks or something. There's no way this was real. But then Ganishka comes, the apostle comes, and he's mad that he called all that an illusion. So that's where we see this big bad who's going to be the big bad apostle for the next few volumes. He's badass, like a big like force of energy in the sky, big bold dialogue. Now we know we got to get the hell out of here because the city is going to be invaded by more monsters. Ganishka told them so. So we have the alligator monsters. We've got more Ligers. And of course, we've got the war demons that we saw their birthing cycle. They've been dispatched, ready to fight. So Guts and them got to get the hell out of town on Homeboy's boat. So we kind of get the vibe that he's still in cahoots with the brother, but he's gonna play it out a little bit. He's gonna play this engagement out. And then it kind of shows all of these like world leaders in hiding. We got one of these guys, he's super old. He's never done anything interesting in his life. He always just kind of played it safe as a leader. He kind of gets a premonition, a vision of sorts from Griffith. And then when he gets a visit by Band of the Hawk. The Band of the Hawk visits him. That's the girl that invited Shirke to come with her to the Band of the Hawk. And, you know, she was Griffith's girl until Princess Charlotte came back in the mix. So now this guy is going to join his forces with the Band of the Hawk, just making them stronger and stronger. Here we have back in the city where Guts and them need to escape the war demons. Guts and them trying to fight their way out. So exciting to the end of this volume. We got the fairies, you know, everyone fighting. Isidro. And we got another one of these elephant apostles coming through. Guts ready to say, hey, let's get it started. You know, he's not going to back down. Sepulchre showing that he's formidable. Same with Isidro. Everyone's holding it down, doing their part. Guts fighting this big creature. And look who starts creeping up his back. Stay down. I love how he yells at the Berserker armor like that. He's like, yo, I could do it. I don't need you, because then Shirky's got to come get me back, right? So this big animal just takes down the house. Guts allowed himself to be stuck in the house so he could hit the stairs and get the high ground and jump and impale the beast. That was like a whole big thing here. Brutal stuff here. And this is where it ends. It just basically ends like, listen, we got to get on the ship, we got to wrap this up, get on the ship and get the hell out of here. So that's where it ends. Iconic imagery here for volume 28's cover art. Then we have 29 and 30 cover art, which is the scene we just saw. And that's it for volume 10, guys. All right, guys, there we have it. Absolutely love this volume. I feel like it was a little bit slow in the middle, but the guts with the Berserker armor battles in the beginning and the end, especially the beginning where he goes full on Berserker mode, Shirky's got to pull him back. How later on in the volume he doesn't let himself be overcome to fight the same beast, really. So it shows his growth, his growth right then and there. Isidro's becoming more formidable. Sepulchre is a badass. Definitely like where this is going, and it's only going to get crazier. I've read the material already, but I love going back and rereading it when a new deluxe edition comes out. Let me know your thoughts on Berserk in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and stay minty fresh. Peace.